So you might have found yourself here from the previous video that I did. What I'm going to do now is show you more of the details of the simulator that I've built, the area and the specs of the equipment that I'm using. So this used to be my garage, 17 feet long, it's not quite 9 feet wide inside, and we had to do something with the ceiling. I'll show you inside now. So originally the ceiling was about 8 foot high, but I've had Carl, a guy I know from the driving ranges, come and move my roof timbers, so that actually in the middle, in the hitting area, I've got pretty much 10 feet now. From a forum on Facebook, it suggests that you need around about 9.5 to 10 feet, so 10 feet for me is plenty. I'm 6'2", that's more than enough room for me to swing. I've still got some storage space in this area here, with some blinds covering the crap that's in there, and some storage space at the other end as well, but in the middle bit where I hit from is 10 foot high. So if I start from the ground up, I've had putting green turf put in. A friend of mine, Kev, who you might have seen on some of the other vlog videos, he works for a company that does this. I've had the putting green around the edge, and then I've had a true turf mat put in, which actually takes the T-peg. If I'm completely honest, it probably wouldn't be my choice again of mats. It's a little bit soft, and the problem with that is that when you put in, I'll show you in a second, but when you put in, the ball bounces a little bit because there's too much of a pile on the mat. I'll show you that now. So because the mat's quite soft, when you put, what tends to happen is that the ball jumps a little bit, and the flight scope's wanting to see something along the ground, and obviously if the ball's in the air it can't see that. It's okay on a longer putt because the ball's moving fast and there's more for it to see. It's okay on a short putt because the ball doesn't jump, but on a mid-range putt of, let's say, around about 30 feet, you can actually hit the ball into the air. So I just alluded to the flight scope that I've got. This is something I bought through work because I coach. It comes with a simulator package with E6 that you can run off iOS, off your iPad. The only problem I have with that is that the iPad's not really powerful enough to do justice to the graphics that you get out of E6. So what I bought then on top of that was, I've got a B-Link gaming computer there. My friend Dennis, another guy who's been on some of the blogs, linked me up with a monitor, although I'm not using that, and a keyboard, and that powers the software really nicely. If I turn the light off in here, it's just running through a flyover at the moment, but if I turn the light off in here, that's typical, isn't it? I've also just turned the sound off. Here we go. If I turn the light off, you can see how good that is. That's being run off an Optima GT 1080E short throw projector. This one here, I've still got some of the cellophane on it. I've not taken that off yet, but that's a pretty good projector. Projectors are like, you can spend as much as you want on it. I did buy an ordinary projector initially, and I was going to set it back here under the shelving, but it wasn't high enough, so then when I was hitting balls from the centre of the mat, it was getting my giant head on the screen, so I've had to go higher. I also did originally position it straight above my head, and the problem with that was that I felt like I was getting close to it with my follow through. I probably wasn't, but for peace of mind and to be able to commit to it, especially in a space that's as small as this, I've just moved it off to the right. And one of the things with the Optima projector like this is that it actually has an offset button on it, so you can move the image sideways without altering the aspect of it. I would say get plenty of advice on the projector, because you need to know the throw distance in order to cover the screen that you've got. One little thing that I found on YouTube, again through a forum I'm on Facebook, is that the best way to do it is to get your image to fill from top to bottom on your screen. Mine's a bespoke screen, which I'll come on to in a minute, but get your image to fit top to bottom, and then use the resolution either on your PC or on the game itself, on the E6 game, to fill the sides better. Okay, next thing, getting near the end now, I've got some blackout curtains. There's actually a window behind here that in the daytime it pretty much blocks out all the light. There's a little bit that gets down here, but I've tagged it up against the screen, and I'll come on to that again in a second. But the blackout curtains work really nicely. It kind of frames it, and the more that I've played in here, the more you get drawn into seeing the screen more, and you don't feel like it's a simulator. Eventually you sort of commit to it a little bit more, and you get your mind more in front of what's on you, so when you're hitting putts and chips from a certain distance, you get a better depth perception. The screen itself is from Golf Swing Systems. It's a bespoke size. That cost me around about £600. It's a HD screen. It's got a lining behind it as well to cushion some of the ball. What I've done also is I've hung a carpet behind it that acts as a baffle, because I've only got 12 inches of space, and I felt like if I hit a good tee shot and there wasn't anything behind it, I was worried that the ball was going to hit the wall and come back at me, and obviously I've only got 8 feet of distance to be able to react to that. The 8 feet I've got is 8 feet from ball to screen, and I've got 8 feet from ball to flight scope, which is the minimum that they say you can run it off. I have to say the level of accuracy, having used flight scope in my bite at the range, knowing what numbers I can create, the level of accuracy is incredible. So to fix up the screen, I made like a picture frame almost. I've got it fastened in 3 of the sides. So the top, I've got a wooden piece of timber behind here that I've drilled in and out and screwed it into the top piece here. Down the sides, I originally just screwed it into the wall, but it wasn't strong enough, so I've bolted the timber now through the side walls, both sides. That feels really solid, fingers crossed. And then it's just tie wrapped on, and there's a bungee cord that came with the net that I've done along the top. It does feel pretty solid, that now. It does kill it really well. I feel like I'm a reasonable player. I feel like I'm going to hit the screen every time. I think if I felt like I was going to hit the ball off the side of the club more, I'd probably put some padding down the wall, but luckily as yet that's not really happened. A couple of other little things that I've done. I've bought a curtain heater. It's been the coldest January in 10 years apparently. It's been quite welcome, that in here. I've got a 2 kilowatt storage heater, a curtain heater that you can turn up or down. I also bought a disco spotlight that just throws me a shadow down here. The good thing with that is that it's very easy to tell where to put the ball when you're playing. You can play again in more darkness if you get used to it, and you can still see where your ball is. The darker it is in here, the better the graphics are on the screen, but you do need to see where your ball is, obviously. And I've had an alarm system installed as well. So finally, software wise, I've got the E6, which I've mentioned a couple of times. I've just gone for the basic package. It's $300 a year. I get around about 30 courses a month for that. I think, I'm not sure yet because I've not done a month, but after the first month, the courses that I've had will disappear and I'll download other courses. I've put a booster in here for my internet. It's not great, to be honest with you, coming through the walls. I've got good internet in the house, but it's not a great signal out here. What I had to do was take my PC into the house to download the courses. I'll show you what courses there are. I've logged in so I can play online. I've done a little bit of that. I've not played against anybody live, but I've entered some of the competitions. Not done anything particularly. Shot 4 under on one of them, but somebody had shot, I think, 11 under or something like that, so I was nowhere near. I tend to have it on gimmies for them inside 10 feet. Makes the game a little bit quicker. You can have gimmies inside 5 feet. You can hole out if you want. You can have so that it decides how many putts you have when you get on the green. If you don't want to put, I suppose a lot of that depends on what system you're running. But this is a list of the courses I was going to play. Grand National Links, that's not one of the ones I've played so far. It's a bit of a shorter one. That in fact, no, it's not. It's one of the longer ones. That's 7,300 yards. I tend to play it off the blue tees, which is not right at the very back. Having not played really since Christmas. I also fell off the ladder last week as well. I hurt my knee a little bit, so I'm not fully unwinding on my tee shots. But the E6 software is really good. And so what I'll do going forward is, if anybody wants to watch, I'll probably put a couple of holes up for me playing, if you're really interested. So that's about it. I think the only other thing to say really is that obviously we're using the flight scope. It recommends that you put the silver dots on the balls just to give a more accurate spin rating. Again, like I said before, the level of accuracy of swing information and ball information is incredible. I have to say thanks to everybody on the Facebook forum, Harry Brandt's Facebook forum for golf simulators. If you're into doing something like this, get yourself on there. It's a really good community where everybody helps each other. Hopefully this has been a help to some of you as well. And if you like what I've done, give us a like on the channel, and I'll see if I can stick either some tuition videos up or some course vlog videos up just for a bit of fun, because I'm looking for things to do. Thanks for watching.